And then he was like, no, sit down and shut the fuck up. And we were like, I think we're just going to go. So we run and we just leave this house because we're like, we're not in the right place. Even though that was the address that was on the invoice. And call the guy, sort it. It turns up, the merch turns up at the venue in a fucking hearse. Like, delivered in a hearse.
You're listening to Sappenin Podcast.
Sappenin!
Sappenin!
You are listening to episode 324 of Sappenin Podcast, featuring myself, Sean Smith, and my good friend Morgan Richards, who's just here.
Yes, it's me, Morgan Richards. And I've got a question. What do you, the room, and the devil on your shoulder all have in common? You're not answering?
I think people can hear my fucking foot tapping from how fucking angry I am.
The answer was, all you ever share are dial tones, dial tones.
Fuck me. Between the fucking, how awkwardly you jammed that pun together and your actual vocal tone. It's not so good, Al. It's not so good. Anyway, this week's guests are fucking Ben. Oh, look. This week's guests, without swearing, are Ben and Patty from the mighty As It Is.
Yes, As It Is are back, baby, especially in their original success lineup. Now, look. A few years ago, there was a whole question mark surrounding this band. There are people we love on this podcast. We've had them on many times. But people didn't really know what the future was going to be. Patty questioned his future in music. There'd been many lineup changes. And at many points, people thought this band was done. But just a couple of short months ago, they shocked everyone with the announcement of their reunion as the four of Patty, Benjamin, Foley, and Ali returning to not only play Slam Dunk Festival 2025, but celebrating the 10th anniversary of their debut album, Never Happy Ever After. So this has been setting everyone off in hysterics, just kind of reliving those pop punk emo vibes. And they've since announced that they've re-recorded all of these songs as a special X project, mixed them up completely, and they all have features from different artists involved, including Lucas Woodland of Hold an Absence. Today they released the single Sorry with Michaela from Yours Truly. You've got people from Mallory Knox to Rome to Kellen Quing of Sleeping with Sirens. Dave Brown Sound, who sent us some text messages on Christmas Day, which we haven't mentioned to anyone before, but he actually did. And that's so strange. Much more going to celebrate this band's reunion. And we can both say that we are extremely, extremely happy to see these guys all back together having a laugh again.
Yes, very much. I'm happy for anybody whose band gets back together now and has a laugh. Because, having been through it myself, I know how powerful the emotion is to get back on stage and feel a crowd that wants to see you again. So, I am absolutely chuffed for the boys. It's going to be everything they expected plus more, and they deserve it because they worked fucking hard and people love the band.
They do. We've shared many a good time with them, whether it be in a weird backstage area in Bridgend to festivals, and just we like a giggle, that's a lot. I think we get on very well. We're almost like best friends. I don't know if they'd agree, but I feel like we are.
They wouldn't agree, especially after that fucking pun you started with. I don't blame them if they never come back on. But thanks, boys, for this. If it was the last time, thank you. It was a special time. I appreciate it. Listen, it wasn't me that did those puns. So if you want to come back on and you only want to do it, with 50% of Sappenin Podcast, that's fine by me. We'll try and make it work. I'm sorry for what he's done. I was going to say he's going to get better. 320 fucking 4 weeks in a row he's been doing this shit now, and it's boiling my blood. So thank you very much to As It Is for coming on. Sorry about him, though. Carry on.
Cheap shots and setbacks, aren't they? Hey! Pew, pew. I did finger guns there. No one can see the finger guns. Right. Okay, anyway.
Listen, shut up. No, you shut up. It's my go. I'm not having this. Listen, if you enjoy any of this shit and you want to try and keep me and him together, join our Patreon, because I don't know how much longer I can stand this, right? So check out our Patreon, patreon.com/Sappenin. Follow us on social media. It's at Sappenin Pod on social medias. This is As It Is. This is Patty and Ben. Thanks to Patty and Ben. Nice one. Cheers. Ta. Sappenin!
Sappenin!
Don't even say Sappenin. Sappenin!
Sappenin!
Sappenin.
Sappenin!
It's Sappenin, everyone.
Yes! Yes. We are currently joined by Patty and Ben of the mighty, recently reformed, and from what I can see online, loving life as it is. How are you, boys?
Oh, fantastic. What an introduction. Yeah, really good. Really good. Thanks. How are you two?
Good, man. Good. Well,
yeah, right, yeah.
Well, day to day, that might be a question, but the fact that you guys are in front of us yet again makes us very, very happy. You've both been on this podcast in many different ways, many times, right? And you know we love you. But the fact that we got to see the announcement happen in real time of this lineup of As It Is getting back together, doing this again, has not only made us extremely happy, but so many people in the comments online and waiting for you guys to play live again. How does it feel sitting next to each other in the band again and just seeing all the reaction?
I mean, I think we were a bit blown away by the response when we came back. I don't think we quite anticipated the level of excitement. Especially, I know the other two boys were very, very surprised. It feels amazing. Like, you know, we live pretty close to each other, so we've seen each other all throughout everything. It feels good to be here and scheming away and stuff and working on As It Is. Like,
Yeah, in a lot of ways, it's hard to sort of imagine and remember that less than a year ago, the band was just kind of dead, and I'd done some announcement about how I'm quitting the music industry and going to move on in my life and things, and that was, pretty short-lived.
I didn't even realize until a fan tweeted us that the day that we dropped Dial Tones is the day that you put out your statement. A year to the date.
I wouldn't have known that either, because I don't pay that much attention to my life.
It was just like a coincidence. So,
Wow. Okay, that's fun. Yeah. I'm glad I know that now. So really surreal. Hard to imagine life without it again at this point. Yeah.
Yeah, that's So what was the contributing factor to you a year ago deciding that you were stepping away?
Yeah, I mean, so many. The band was just sort of at this like standstill. It was just sort of dead. And for myself, I really needed to sort of move on and just find something new, tried something new. I mean, it had like professionally and personally just kind of been like the biggest thing in my life for 10 years or so. And I was just ready for a new chapter and to do that, in a combination with like finding new work and therapy and really like planting deeper roots like here at home in Brighton and stuff. I really wanted to just sort of move on. And for me, I thought that was over. And an announcement happened a year ago, but that was sort of years in the making. And I was telling everybody in my life, I was in a successful touring band. It was the perfect way for me to spend my 20s, but here I am in my 30s and I'm going to just do something new and find happiness somewhere else. But I think, and we've said this before, is that like, I think we always knew that the band would come back at some point in some sort of capacity. And it just happened to be much sooner than I think we'd really expected.
Yeah, so. I think it was way sooner than I expected. But it's nice that it's panned out the way it has because it's tied in with the anniversary and everything. But yeah, I think we've said this before as well. Like we all, I think, look back and realize that we all needed a break, and then we all kind of ended up taking it and dropping off at different points rather than just like, maybe if we look back, we'd have all just kind of taken the hiatus word, and we'd have been like, we just need a break from touring for a bit, and it would have played out a bit differently. But it's we know that now, and we know how to operate and be in this band in a way that balances really well with our lives now. And that was not something that we had before. It was like the band is 100% and everything else has to kind of fit around that. And now it's kind of the opposite. We all have lives and the band fits really nicely around it now. So.
But that's the thing. Hindsight is 2020 with a lot of these stuff, right? And as you said, we could have done a hiatus altogether if we'd known. But I think that's what's been so interesting with how As It Is has evolved and the lineup and the changes of people coming in and out is that it's being in real time. It's being real life. You've all had to deal with things or had to grow up basically under the spotlight in this scene. And that might just be something to just look back on as well, to realize that there were points in all your lives where it wouldn't make sense, it couldn't make sense, and then the band kept going for whatever reason and stuff, but it's all brought you all back together now.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I mentioned therapy, and it's really hard to do that sort of when you're touring 250 days out of the year, and to really just like take care of yourself and look after yourself and prioritize yourself. Because even just sort of as well as the like 180 something shows we do in a year, there were still travel days, there was still recording albums and stuff. We were just never home. And it's been nice to just sort of like, I don't know, learn to like work on myself and prioritize myself, but then just still have like the single most important and fulfilling like outlet for me, which has been like this band and like artistic expression and songwriting and performance, which I'm looking forward to doing for the first time in a long time later this year. It's gonna be great.
Yeah. What did you decide when you decided that you were leaving the industry? What was there a job you had in mind or something that you were working towards to go and do? And then how soon was the re-emergence of the band after you'd said you were going to knock it on the head?
Yeah, so I think you, Leander, and I started talking about bringing the band back from the dead in either April or May of last year.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, just a few months later, 4 or 5 months later at most. But things I was sort of considering, I was thinking about sort of film composition, scoring for films. I was thinking about podcasting. I started a podcast. I took it really, really seriously last year, and I'm still taking it seriously, just trying to do fewer episodes. So that was something. I mean, who doesn't love a podcast, right? So
I hate them.
I also learned to appreciate how fucking hard it is and how much time it takes out of your life. The thing that it really made me appreciate, right, about songwriting and creativity and things is like when I sat down to edit a podcast, if I allocated time, stuff would happen. But when you sit down to write a song, if you set 6 hours aside, you might not have anything good to show for it. And like creativity is just this like weird, intangible, mushy sort of thing that you can't really compare to sort of anything else. So it was really interesting coming back to creativity, be like, okay, I'm going to like write today. And it's like, oh, fuck, like none of that was any good. And now I hate myself. So, in one sense, it was really rewarding because if you like gave it time, you got results. But creativity and songwriting are just like a completely different monster, it seems, which is kind of fun, kind of funny.
I find it really interesting that, Ben, you were one of the catalysts to bring this version of the band back, right? Because obviously you'd left in 2019 and we all still know that you were in the industry and you guys have been friends and all this in between. But what made you think like, oh, I would like to do As It Is again compared to anything else?
So I guess, well, that was a big key difference between me and Patty during that gap is like you did almost no music, right. Other than like the couple of bits we actually did together. And I kind of did more than I thought I would, and took it a bit more seriously than I thought I would. And as much as I'm like proud of the things that I've made and that exist as records, I think I came out of that. My ultimate realization out of that is that I will never care about an art project as much as it is. That is like that is the realization I came to out of it. I think there's something about the way not just me and Patty work together, but the four of us work together, where we are all bigger together than the sum of our parts.
100%, yeah.
And sometimes it takes a bit of time away from something to realize how much you miss it, or you kind of need it as part of your creative outlet. So it was really nice that it was something that I could come back to. And even though I knew that would be the case, I remember the day that we kind of sat down in London and I told you that I was thinking of leaving. That was one of the things, you said, so it was never going to be, I didn't think it would be like forever ever. But yeah, it's definitely sooner than I thought it would be, but it's all panned out perfectly.
Well, yeah, it seems to be fantastic. Well, the thing is, when you mentioned going on hiatus earlier, like if you had gone on hiatus and then people were expecting you to come back, I don't think coming back is as powerful as, you were gone, you were done. Like people thought they'd never ever see you again. So now that you're back and you didn't take a hiatus or be like, oh, we will be back at some point, I think it's worked detrimentally for you. Do you see that the same?
Well, yeah, I mean, we planned it like this, John. It was all just some incredibly sophisticated marketing strategy.
It works out quite well because you're a social media recluse anyway. Right. So, like, that pans out quite well. You can just disappear and they're just like, oh, well, Patty doesn't post anyway. So, yeah, you could be dead and people wouldn't know for potentially years.
Far from you, I tend to see sort of several.
Well, yeah, I'd probably get a bit worried if I heard from you.
Ben's turning up every day and he's just like, Patty's been quiet for months. Yes. He's there and he's starting to smell a little bit, but there's something wrong, I think. But yeah, you mentioned Leander Glover-Smith. He's your manager.
Yeah.
At the moment. Well, he's your manager. I don't know what I said at the moment. Yeah. But yeah, how was it when did you feel any nerves, like speaking to the other members of the band about getting back together? Was there any ums and ahs from anybody else, or was it everybody straight back in?
Yeah, I mean, I think we anticipated more ums and ahs than we got, right? Everybody was actually really excited. And kind of ready to if not like play some shows again, then just certainly get back into a room together and just like plug into some amps and make some noise and just see what that sounds like, right?
Yeah.
When we were talking to Leander, that was in either April or May of last year.
Yeah,
and we were seeing his new band Split Chain play in Brighton. And we just got dinner before the show because we've been close with him all these years as well. And just said, hey, like we're just thinking about getting this band back together. And he was leaving his label job at the time and getting back into management, which we didn't know either. And it was just these, I don't know, this cosmic, that's the word we're using a lot right now.
Kismet is the word that Leander likes to use.
Is it?
Kismet. Just like the way everything worked out and the timing and just all these coincidences, and obviously, as you know, he's now with Ryan from Funeral at Future History. So it's for him, and they've got a long 20-year kind of relationship of knowing each other. And I as well. There's a really funny photo of me when I was about 14, meeting Ryan Richards in a pub in St Ives in Cornwall. They did like 2 shows in tiny venues in Cornwall, and I looked like such a dweeb in it. But just these really like funny moments and full circle moments that have happened since. And when we floated the idea to Foley and Ellie, I mean, they were definitely down. Again, it's very much been a thing that started as like, let's do these 2 shows at Slam Dunk,
right,
and has quickly not got out of hand again, because that's not how we operate, but like it's very much been like we didn't expect. It's one thing to say we didn't expect like the response from the fans, but also like the industry and like the people that have been like, oh, we want to work with you, and like new members of the team. The response from people that have wanted to work with us as well has been insane, and we couldn't have anticipated that. So yeah,
nice,
it's exciting.
Good. I'm glad this is all positive. This is rare. It's rare.
But it's nice to see that, like, and I'm sure it's weird in a lot of cases that when you take that step back, sometimes that's the biggest step forward. And you mentioned like a lot of these little things that have just worked out timing wise, like perfectly. Like I'm one of these people who I don't necessarily believe in fate, but I do believe like there's a lot of things that are meant to happen in your life, or there's things that like, there's times that definitely that thing was supposed to happen there. And this just seems that. It just seems like with everything you've just explained, there couldn't have been a better way for you guys to do this again, especially as the four of you.
Yeah, and I think too, it's taken some time away. I started working for a charity and just like getting this new perspective for how everybody else, like when you're in this sort of scene, in this community, like we have a really different experience. Like this is kind of our entire lives. I say that about the artists in the industry, but the fans as well. Like this is kind of everything to us. This is like a huge part of our identities and experience, but just like seeing how important gigs and music and festivals and things are to people who live like really stressful jobs, just having these like outlets, and how important that outlet and just music is to people. I think I took that for granted because I was just so close to it for so many years. Yeah, I mean, like intimate gigs and huge gigs and new music and old music, just how much color it like brings to people's lives. And it's nice to just sort of like, have that perspective and just like fall in love with music again. I was really like angry at music. I really fucking hated it for a while. And now it's nice to just, like love music and being a musician again, instead of thinking it's just some silly fucking job that I'm very lucky to do. Right. So.
Yeah, snap. That's what happened to me. Like when the blackout ended in 2015, I was just like, fuck music. I was like, I completed it, whatever. Like, and then it got to the point where I was like, there's no frontmen. There's no frontmen that wow me anymore. Like it had been so long, and so many of my favorite bands had finished. Like, Gallows had like got rid of Frank or whatever, and like other than like Jason Butler, there wasn't really that many frontmen who like made me sit up and watch. And then I was just like, oh, I hate all this music. I could be doing all this better. Getting really fucking bitter. And then, and then the opportunity arose again. What was the first rehearsal like back together?
That was really cool, actually.
Yeah.
Was our first rehearsal in August?
That sounds...
I think we did it in...
Yeah, no, that sounds right.
Yeah.
That does sound right.
Yeah.
And then the second one was October time.
Yeah. So we just, the boys drove down to Brighton. They're actually driving down tomorrow to Brighton to do the same again for rehearsal. So we figured we always used to rehearse like literally just 2 days before a tour started, but we figured we might need to dust off a few more cobwebs this time, get started a bit earlier.
Dust off the cockerels, as Foley said once.
Yeah. But yeah, we just got in a room in Brighton Electric, which actually, funnily enough, was like the room where we first tracked drums for our first demo.
Yeah.
So again, one of those moments.
I've been rehearsing there for 15 years nearly or so.
Yeah, God. I mean, we have been a band almost that long. It's coming up. And yeah, we didn't, again, how we ended was very much, we were like playing with ears and stuff, and that is something that we'll continue to do, but we very much, first rehearsal was like plug and play, and like trying to just like everyone pick up their instruments and let's just try and play these songs the best we can. And we just I think, I mean, the first run through wasn't like slam dunk acceptable, but it wasn't like embarrassingly bad.
Yeah, I had super low expectations, and they were better than I expected them to be, those run throughs.
Yeah, especially like I know Foley was giving it all that, being like, oh, I haven't played drums in like so long, and haven't had access to a kit, and I don't know what I'm doing, and don't know any fills. And then he came in and smashed it, and the muscle memory kicks in. So although I guess that's the only thing about the new versions is I'm having to overwrite my muscle memory,
right? Which
is proving more difficult,
right?
Than just like learning a new song,
right?
So from scratch.
Yeah, I love the idea of Foley was literally just sitting there behind the kit going, any day now the boys are going to get back together. I know it. I'm going to have this call. And he's like, oh, boys, I don't remember any. He's been practicing every day since the split. He's just like, this is fucking going to happen. I know it is.
That's right. 100%.
Yeah, crazy.
Well, Ben, you mentioned, like, obviously, because Patty, social media isn't your thing at all. Ben, you have to deal with all the social accounts and seeing the reaction in real time, right? Two parts to this. What is being some of that reaction that has made you step back a little bit from the fans in particular to know that this is a thing again? And what are some of the best memes you have seen about all this? Because there's been plenty. There
have been some good memes. I think just in general, the thing that blows me away about the response is just when we wrote this record 10 years ago, there's a great clip I found of Patty in the studio, like doing an interview saying like, what do you like want from this record? And you said like, if anyone cares about this record in like 10 years time, like, I'll know, like, you know, we've done something, and like, here we are 10 years later, and people are like sharing all their memories of like listening to it like at school, and all these memories that I associate with, like, you know, the early My Chem records and Fall Out Boy and the Used and stuff, those formative ones, like, I'm seeing people like reminisce about that in real time and talk about. People are throwing around the word legacy and pop punk classic about dial tones, and it's just like that shit is the stuff that like blows my mind, I guess. Like that 10 years later, it's like some people still consider that a really good song. So that's what blows my mind. Meme-wise, oh my God, I've seen some pretty good ones. I mean, honestly, the Arrested Development one, where it's Lucille Bluth being like, I love all my children equally, and it's like, I don't care for January. When she goes, I don't care for Job. Because when we did the B-sides record, my whole bit about it was like, I did a whole commitment to the bit of just being like apathetic about releasing all these like B-sides that are like, we're going to come back and release all our worst songs. Like, that's how we're going to run it. And luckily, most of our fans get the dry humor that we tend to go for with that. But yeah, it's I've been embracing the meme culture and the kind of cringe of it. I think as in 2015, we were quite cringe on the internet. We did stupid skits and stuff. When we announced Warped Tour the first time we did it, as basically like reading a Christmas story, and like that you'd got us a Christmas present was that we were playing Warped Tour. It was so fucking stupid. So we're just kind of re-embracing that like cringe 2015 Tumblr, but with modern memes. Modern memes.
Modern fun. Yeah, of course. But as well, like, you know, you said this is the timing of this can be more perfect, celebrating the 10th year anniversary of Never Happy Ever After. I'm sure it must be so weird kind of having so much going on at the same time, right? Where you're looking at like, oh, we're back together. So that's a big emotion. But then we're seeing how far we've grown in just the last few years of our private lives. That's a big emotion. But also looking back at how you started and the decade-long journey that this has been a thing, like there's so much running through your mind at that time. It must be like a blessing and a curse in some ways to just be at this point where you can reflect on everything, but having so much to reflect on.
Yeah, no, completely. It's been really surreal, and I've really enjoyed and appreciated sort of just reconnecting with the people that we were 10 years ago, sort of writing Never Happy Ever After and recording Never Happy Ever After, and flying to America for the first time as a band to record that record with James Paul Wisner, who did like Under Oath and Dashboard Confessional and The Academy Is and all these artists that we looked up to so much and stuff, and really just being given that first huge opportunity. But yeah, just being sort of in so many ways like so unprepared for everything that was like to come, and to really like write our first record, like our first real like body of work. It's been amazing to sort of like reflect at like what a strong record it is for our first one, and not really knowing what we were doing.
I think as a band, you're always moving forward, always onto the next thing and the next record, and like the record's out, do the next record.
Right.
And so, and that's always the thing, right? In interviews, you're like, oh, this one's better than the last one, right? So no one ever talks about like their first record like it's one of their better.
We don't like
records.
this. We don't like this new one as much as we like the first one. Can you imagine? But yeah, I mean, there's nothing just sort of like pure and innocent about like the debut record. With everyone that comes after, you're sort of thinking, all right, like, okay, let's calculate like what bands and artists we want to tour with, and what rooms we want to be in, and what's like the right aesthetic and branding. And I love all of those things, but when you write your debut, it's just like who are we and what do we want to say? And it's been nice to just like reconnect with just how like humble and pure like the art was because of that.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's been really nice to just revisit those songs. I mean, by the end on my last tour, I was so fucking sick of Dial Tones. I don't think we played it on that tour.
You might be right, yeah.
Other than one song, I was like, rah, 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 rah. I was like a grumpy old man. I would never be like that now. I would hate me now. I would think like just play the hits, play the songs, play a few deep cuts. But like the people want to hear Dial Tones, and I was so sick of it. And now it's really nice to like not only listen to that song and like be like, oh, this is like a good song that I still think holds up and stuff. But like every time that we are in rehearsal, all we get distracted by is just like stories from that time and that era and reminiscing, and that distracts us so much from actually rehearsing. And it's amazing how we all have like we all remember different things. Like as well, like I have everyone makes fun of me for having an almost like photographic memory of like the shows and venues that we've played. Right. But then sometimes someone will be like, do you remember this thing that happened at the show? And I have no memory of it at all. So I have a very selective memory on things, but yeah, I'm really happy that we've actually taken the time to just like look back, reconnect with our roots, because that's what fans are always commenting, right? Oh, I wish they'd go back to the first album. Well, do you know what? Here we are. Here's the first album again. Yeah, right. You wanted us to go back to our roots. Just we'll do it again.
Yeah, be there or don't. But we are doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, be there or don't, but definitely be there, because we're doing this because you fucking asked for it. But yeah, no, I get it. I completely get it. And then, yeah, when you're talking about like, oh, you know, your last album's your best album, I was just thinking, that wasn't the case with the Blackout. Our last album was Start a Party, which literally put a fucking bullet in the band. So, yeah, sad times. But yes, I'm glad you guys are happy. I'm glad things are going well. I'm glad you're so not fed up with Dial Tones anymore that you've re-recorded it with a Welsh lad.
Yeah,
yeah. How did that come about? How did that come about?
I mean, well, we took Holding Absence on tour before they even had an album out.
You made Holding Absence. That's what I just heard.
That's what we're saying.
That's what we're saying. We are responsible.
We'll take credit.
No, Lucas, whenever we see Lucas, he always talks about that tour, because he always cites it as that was one of Holding Absence's like biggest first tours that they did as a support act, because we did like the Forum on that tour, so it was quite a big tour. And yeah, I think they were just about to release their debut album, and I remember watching them going, why the fuck have we booked this band? Because now I have to go and sing on stage after Lucas Woodland. But no, we've remained friends ever since. And when we first demoed Dial Tones, and it was kind of this an elevated version of how we'd kind of started playing Dial Tones in the Great Depression era to kind of fit in with the rest of the set. It just kind of made sense. It made sense to have Lucas on it. And I mean, as part of the wider Never Happy project, which I believe we can talk about because this is coming out when the album comes out, so or is announced. I think I went back and found the text, and I think it was in May you conceived the idea of As It Is and Friends as like as a record to celebrate Never Happy. And it very much started as like, oh, if we could get Lucas and like a couple of guest features, that would be cool. But then it turned into having like 13 guests on the entire record and stuff. And
a feature on every song, and sometimes more than one feature on a song. So it snowballed like way out of control.
Yeah, we really committed that.
I'm gonna check my junk in my email a second, boys, because I seem to have missed the invite. But I'll have a look. No, it's nothing new, boys. It's nothing new. Something's happened, I think. That's gone wrong. But who are the better guests than Sean Smith that you've got on this record? Which is everyone.
We've you should check again. Something definitely came through.
Oh no! 6 months ago I missed it. Oh no!
No, we did have quite. You'd be surprised. We sent out quite a lot of DMs that just didn't get read, but it doesn't matter. Like we ended up with like the perfect selection of guests. Like the goal was to have like a mix of people that have influenced Never Happy, or like influenced the band, our friends and peers that we toured with around that time, and then like some newer, younger bands, some that like even cite As It Is as an influence. So like it's kind of 3-tiered thing, and yeah, it was amazing. I mean, we've got Kellen Quinn from Sleeping with Sirens.
Nice.
We've got my favorite one that I'm excited about is we've got Brown Sound from Sum 41 shredding a solo on it.
Yes, you do.
And again, it's just one of those wild things where it's like you look at it on paper and it's like feat Brown Sound of Sum 41 and Rachel, Patty's sister,
who also sings on the same song.
Yeah. So it's just
together at last.
These crazy things. We've got Mallory Knox and Rome on the same track on Cheap Shots, which kind of is this like 2015 scene kind of party, essentially. We've got RTO, incredible new band that we're excited about, Beauty School. We've got Trash Boat, obviously.
Trying to go in order. We've got yours truly. We've got Lucas on Dial Tones, my sister in Brown Sound on Oceans, Trash Boat on Concrete, RDO on Turn Back to Me, No Offense on Can't Save Myself, Hidden in Plain View on Silence, and Ella from Transit on You the Room, the closer. So
yeah, the Hidden in Plain View one I am so excited about because when I listened back to Never Happy, we ripped off Life and Dreaming so hard. I like
one of my favorite records. I've got the artwork tattooed on my leg. Like I fucking love that band and that album specifically. Yeah. It's just a huge.
One of the original Never Happy demos was actually called HIPV because it just was such a rip-off of Hidden in Plain View. So to have one of the biggest like Drive-Thru Records era bands that inspired Never Happy on the record is incredible because we were actually supposed to do a tour with them in like 2014 when they came to the UK. But then everything, I can't remember why, it got rescheduled for some reason and we couldn't do the rescheduled dates because we'd already got something booked. So yeah, it's just one of these really cool moments for us.
Yeah.
And the same with Ella from Transit, like in our first promos, like Foley's in a Transit t-shirt and they were a huge influence on like, especially like early As It Is.
Yeah.
Like, some really cool features, and they all have a nice like meaning to it. So like RTO, for example, who one of the newer bands on it, they I think they met their guitarist or their drummer in like a signing queue for As It Is. So, and one of them has covered us in a band before, and there's all these kind of like nice little links that make it mean something nice and not just be like a feature for the sake of a feature. It's like everyone's like, you know, friends or like really excited to do it. So
yeah, it's awesome.
Well, as you said, there's layers to it, and there is really those three different like chapters to these guests, right? Like, yeah, people are going to be stoked to see like, you know, Kellen Quinn and Brown Sound on there just for like, oh, you toured with these people and big industry names. But like for me, I was really like, when I saw the list, I was like, oh, you've got Mallory Knox and Rome and Trash Boat, because they're like all the bands that would have been around at the same time with you, and it's kind of like, oh, that is a caption of the scene at that point. And then, as you said about having the newer artists and stuff, it must be really nice to not only redo these songs, but do them with the different chapters of people who have either loved it from their perspective, or you've been able to share those times with as well.
Yeah, and we've said to every featured, like, please make it your own and like make this yours. And some of them have gone fucking nuts with the assignment. Like they've really brought something new and fun and fresh to every song.
Kellen Quinn sent back like 32 vocal layers.
Yeah.
Like, it was insane.
Yeah. The RDO one, the Hidden in Plain View, like some of these people just sent fucking like buckets of stuff.
Yeah, because Hidden in Plain View as well, they put in a reference to Bleed For You as well. They were like, oh, we've snuck in like a little extra reference as well. You don't have to keep it. We're obviously keeping it. Like it makes the song. And like Ella from Transit wrote a new part and stuff. And we were very much like, because I'd say we had maybe not quite half of them we managed to like actually record in person as well. And we were very much just like, make it yours, do you? And yeah, everyone killed it. It's so exciting. I was thinking about the Rome and Mallory Knox one though. Do you remember a festival called Butzer Fest? Do you remember?
Yeah.
The alcohol-free
that
one?
hill.
Yeah.
With a big hill. The Blackout played it a couple of times, and I'd get everybody to go from the barrier up the hill, and then we'd have a roll down competition to see who could roll down and win it.
You just have to sneak off about a mile into the forest to have a joint or something, like just because. But the year that we played it, the main stage was like Mallory Knox, us, and Rome. We were all on it, so it very much feels like this
time capsule.
This time capsule, yeah. So, and also, obviously, Rome don't exist, so we brought them back from the dead for a minute. Yeah. So, you're welcome, everyone, I guess.
Oh,
yeah. Right, so you're taking credit for making Holding Absence a thing and bringing back Rome from the dead. Anything else you want to just clear the air with here and just claim? Or
if
just
with confidence come back, that's probably our fault too. So, I don't know how, but it is. We actually invented pop punk. That's true.
Yeah. We actually invented music. So you're welcome, Beethoven, if that is your real name.
Beethoven's got nothing on dial tones. So
he fucking listens every week as well. He's he's actually one of our highest Patreon members, old Armadale. Old fucking Beethoven. So he's welcome.
On that note, I was just trying to imagine Beethoven saying Sappenin, but I don't know how that would go anyway. But Don't
try it.
I hit up his DMs to feature on the record. Nothing back.
But with this X project as well, like, how therapeutic was it for you all to go back and not only revisit these songs, but rewrite them and then record them in different styles for you as well? Because that must be another mentally challenging thing to be like, you know, using the word time capsule, the original recordings are that, right? So how was it going back to these songs and changing them?
I think it was just like the thing that was the most special about the project is I think just like the timing and just that like we got back together in time to really celebrate the record like this. And yeah, just sort of reconnecting with like each and every song, the lyrics, just the instrumentation and stuff, but equally too, just like, I mean, it was like recorded and produced and mixed by me, which is kind of like new for me, but it's like having spent as much time away from music as I did, like to play guitar absolutely every day, to play guitar and sing every day again. I think that was like sort of this really literal way of like reconnecting with just like being musical again. And I don't know, just it's been really nice. Like Ben, Leander, and I have this like WhatsApp chat that we just talk in absolutely every day. And I think too, just being like, I don't know, just sort of like exposed to like ideas and passion like every day. Like people go, like, what about this? And like, yeah, cool. And then what about this? And just like the sort of like creativity and like curiosity and like collaboration, just like at the forefront of my life again. Yeah. Feels like how we were sort of like living while we wrote this record 10 or more years ago.
Yeah. And just being able to do it. I mean, this record's recorded across like countless studios and spaces, and just like, you know, every record we've ever done has been like, go into the studio for a month and a half and isolate yourself from everything. And it's been really nice to do this in a way where like, let's get together this weekend and fuck around with a new version of Speak Soft, right? And see what happens. And that was just like really nice. It, like I said, me and Patty kind of ended up weirdly doing the same kind of job in the charity world, but for different kinds of charities. And it's you know, reconnecting with that element. And like, I come home from the end of the day and I'm like excited to work on, or like As It Is, or go to your place and work on something at the end, like at the end of the day. That's like, that feels really nice, to just be excited about it. And yeah, I hope we paid respect to the original recordings of these songs. Like, I think they're all better, personally, than the originals.
Sure.
But you know, that's because we're like 10 years along of growth, and as musicians and songwriters and people and everything. You know, we've grown a lot, and it's like, it's never happy, but now. That's what we always used to say, because someone once came up to us and went, you guys are like newfound glory, but now. So we always say, so we're like, this is like never happy, but now. So
it's now found glory. You should have said now found glory. He should have, didn't.
I failed.
Yeah.
I mean, you can still do merch. Now found glory merch. I mean,
I remember asking.
Yeah, that legal battle wouldn't get a cease and desist over that.
Don't even get caught.
Right. When I found like the old archive of all our like old merch design Photoshop files, I found one which was like it was like an old. Do you remember? It was like the old NSYNC font, right? And like a boy band T-shirt, and it said "As It Is" in the NSYNC font, but it didn't have a picture of As It Is. It still just had a photo of NSYNC. So it just said As It Is, and then a picture of NSYNC. And it was something about that really cracked me up. And I was like,
yeah, that was really funny.
We should do that again. Just do that. As It Is, and there's just Justin Timberlake with the blonde little curls. Just.
I'll buy one right now.
I'm sorting out merch for the Blackout at the moment to support You May 6 soon, and I was thinking about getting it's saying the Blackout across the top and then just a photo of You May at 6.
That's so good.
See what happens, innit? Just or just make a t-shirt that says please don't split up. And then just says the Blackout in a tiny font at the bottom, so people go, oh, buy that to show them now. And I'm like, yes!
That's brilliant.
And they'd have to sign it as well. That's the best part. For the shows and things. Sign the fucking Blackout shirts.
Wait the fuck? Yeah, what the fuck?
What is this shit?
Oh, I can imagine that. Yeah, Josh will be Joshua texts me that night going, I'm going to need 40% of that, I think you'll find.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking into it as we speak. Have you, boys, if you ever want to do a Welsh exclusive t-shirt, here's a good idea. As it is it?
I like that. So good.
As it is it? There you go. It's a Welsh exclusive.
Right. You can have 40% of that one.
Yeah.
I don't want, no, you can have all of that.
Okay.
You can have all of that. Yeah.
But going down memory lane and mentioning that, like in practicing, you get just caught up in just the stories from this era of the band. Do you remember any of those like first moments when you all thought like, oh fuck, like we're a real band now, like we've made it, like these little things that like maybe in time are quite cute to look back on and go, oh, that was nothing compared to what we've done, but at the time was everything.
Gosh, wow.
I mean, the one that sticks out is always like the first show of the first kind of proper-ish tour we did.
In 2014.
Yeah, it was in Glasgow, and we had very, very minimal expectations. And I think we hadn't really played much further north than London at that point.
Right.
And I mean, looking back, I think we exaggerated how many people were there, but there was still probably like just under like 100 people there. But people were singing, and it was the energy. There was a TV documentary crew about the Scottish referendum there that interviewed one of our fans or something. So we ended up in a BBC show about the Scottish referendum, like footage from our first tour. So that one always sticks out because like 2 days before that, we'd done this kind of show in a bowling alley.
That's right.
On the way up to the tour.
Yes.
In a place called Newton Aycliffe. And we played like a 20-minute set, and that's all the songs we had.
That's it.
So, but they wanted us to play another set, so we just did the set in reverse. so stupid. But yeah, and that was to like very minimal people in like essentially this room in like a soft play center bowling alley. It was very weird.
It's great. Not the last time we played a bowling alley.
No.
We played one in Ohio.
We did. But from that was one of those moments where I was like, and that tour just in general, because the first UK tour, and being like, oh, there are people that are coming out to see us, and like people are queuing and stuff.
It was around that sort of time that we started to see like As It Is, like tattoos and lyric tattoos and stuff too, and I think that was a huge one. Like as two people with artwork, like band album artwork tattoos, we're like, we know how much that means. So yeah, we had to we sold out of merch on like the first show because we'd really undershot how much we needed. We were like, fuck, we got no merch for the rest of tour. So we like panicked, and we were like calling around every screen printer in like the Manchester area that could be able to rush deliver us some merch. And there's two bits to this story. One is we went to go and pick it up in Manchester, and we turned up at this guy's house, and it was not the guy that was supposed to be there. Like, and there were just Jack Daniel bottles everywhere. And we were like, is the guy that does the merch here? And he's like, he didn't have a clue what was going on. And he's just wandering around. And we're like, it's okay, we'll go, we'll call the number. And then he was like, no, sit down and shut the fuck up.
Oh.
And we were like, I think we're just going to go. So we run, and we just leave this house because we're not in the right place. Even though that was the address that was on the invoice, and call the guy, sort it. The merch turns up at the venue in a fucking hearse, like delivered in a hearse. A couple of us got into an argument about the quality of the merch that day, but that's by the by. Been made in a fucking mortician's office or something. So
I was about to say, I don't know if you can complain about the quality of the merch if it's been brought to you in a hearse. Like, there's nothing more alternative than your merch turning up in a hearse.
That's right.
In a hearse.
Yeah.
Hearse. Made up with that.
The person you bought the merch off wasn't someone called The Undertaker, was it?
Sure. That's right.
Yeah, he didn't ring the doorbell and he just fucking sat straight up, did he?
But those are the kind of things that like those stories just like kill Foley. That like Foley is just gone, and we just love retelling those ones, and just as well that going out to Florida to record Never Happy just in general, that was like our first time out in America, and to go and be like, oh my god, our debut album, we were being like flown out to America to make it, like that felt like a big we've made it moment.
Right.
Had no fucking money, but I felt like I'd made it, so you know, that was one of the moments.
Do you remember the first time you guys had pirated merchandise outside a venue?
Was it Milan?
It was Milan.
It was that show in Italy,
of course
wasn't
it was. Of course. The Italians, they fucking love some
So that was
fucking dodgy
2015.
merch.
Yeah. I think, was it the State Champs tour?
So maybe 2016.
Yeah, 16 or 17. Yeah, they had some outside the venue, and then we definitely had some in London outside the Coco.
Yeah.
But
I'll say, like, the shows in Milan were always so much fun. It's probably my least favorite venue in the world.
oh yeah,
I love playing there, but it's a tiled stage. It's like a bathroom tiled stage. And what happens is the shows get really rowdy, and there's all this sort of like precipitation in the air, and then it sort of makes the stage slippery. So you're trying to play on it, people are trying to stage dive off it, and they're fucking falling all around everywhere. And then we always played it in a really cold month, and I think we'd always get like really sick afterwards because we're like breathing in all this sort of like steamy sweat, and then you like go to the dressing room, which is outside, and it's fucking freezing.
yeah. It's basically like a gazebo kind of. So the fans can look into the dressing room. I believe they've actually
Like
done it up
zoo
now.
animal.
I believe they've done up the venue now, but it used to be able to see in. But also the shows would get so rowdy that by the time you get off stage, like security have brought about 4 kids that have almost died in the pit into the backstage area that are just sitting there like this, going.
There's nothing like it, man. It's
and you're going into the dressing room after the show, being like, oh, why are there all these like nearly passed out people in the dressing room?
I didn't order these. These weren't on the rider.
But playing Italy is always amazing because they don't just sing like the words in the choruses; they sing the guitar part. So when you play like Daltons, they go da 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 da. It's like you're playing a fucking football stadium.
I love that. Yeah, I hope we can make that happen at Slam Dunk because there's something inherently British about singing a guitar riff. Like,
oh yeah.
So yeah, I want that to become a thing. That would be sick. So
Yeah, very much so. Well, yeah. Well, you've got to get them to do it now. Yeah, at Slam Dunk, you've got to go sing this riff, and then they will.
Yeah.
That's it. Like it's this riff. Britain's wild for it. Like they're wild for a riff. Singing a riff, I'm singing a riff. I'm singing a riff, my riff style determines my singing style. I've turned into Metallica. I've turned into James Hetfield. I'm singing a riff and I'm singing a riff. Yeah, awesome.
But speaking of Slam Dunk, how is that lining up in your minds? Because that is a pressure. There's loads of build up to this because it's so far away from the original announcement, right? How are you feeling about the idea of getting back on that stage again? It's a festival that has being a home for you in many ways. You played there like really, really early on. Am I right in saying you won a competition or you entered a competition at some point? Right, okay.
We entered a competition in 2013. Yeah.
Shit, yeah.
13. That then ended up getting there was a band in it buying votes. And it all
From
got
bot Facebook accounts.
It all got a bit controversial, and Rome were also in that competition with us, and they got to a point where this band's buying votes, go and vote for As It Is, fuck us, basically, right? And in the end, I think Slam Dunk chose a neutral band that wasn't us,
which I think was probably the right call.
And then the following year, we almost played because one of Leander's bands that he was managing at the time got in a fist fight with themselves and pulled out at the last minute on the day. And Leander came up to us like, can you guys play? It'll be on the metal stage in like an hour and a half. And we were like, we have like no gear. Let's just like wait until we play it properly. And then the next year we did it properly. We were like first or second on the pop punk stage. I think it was called the Macbeth stage. I think that dates it. It was sponsored by Macbeth, you know.
Wow.
So it'll be 10 years since Never Happy, but also 10 years since we played Slam Dunk for the first time. So,
That's crazy.
Pretty cool.
Oh, wow.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool. Very, very cool.
And yeah, that Slam Dunk's always just been somewhere you can like. We've just grown like. And you can see it, and you can feel it in the crowds, and yeah, I'm so excited to go back. I love Slam Dunk. I think I've only missed a couple like in the past 15 years, and that's either been because of COVID or just like the last couple of years I've been lazy and a hermit. Can't wait. Probably going to have to do a couple of cheeky warm-up shows to, again, dust off the cockerels, but...
Interesting.
I mean, you've got a Welsh design if you want to do a Welsh one off.
Well, we'll see what happens there, but I'm sure you're getting asked this question a lot as well, with just people online, is like, the future post-Slam Dunk. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious to everyone that this will continue after that. You probably can't give too much away right now, but as the things been turning back behind the scenes to be knowing what you want to do at the end of 2025 and post that?
We're just going to break up every year and get back together every year. Just put the fans through absolute turmoil.
Why not?
So, yeah, we're going to do this, break up, and then we'll get back together, do something else.
Right.
Break up. Yeah.
Do Slam Dunk. Break up on stage of Slam Dunk.
Everyone thinks it's going to be Oasis that do that, right? It's going to be No. We have plans for way beyond Slam Dunk. So, yeah, it's good. The calendar is filling up in a nice, spacious way. So, yeah, it's exciting.
Good.
I think
it's very exciting.
You should just go. You should just double down. You should be the Ross and Rachel of pop punk, really.
Right.
Are they on the break? Will they? Won't they? Who knows?
Will they? Won't they?
We've become one of those bands with like the insane timelines on Wikipedia. You know, the like band member timelines. Which has always been a life goal of mine, to just have the craziest Wikipedia timeline. Still nothing on Megadeth, though. The Megadeth one is insane. It's worth a look at.
Yeah, it's just going to be a green line of Dave for years. And then everybody else is just fucking... Yeah, it's like somebody fucking sneezed a rainbow onto a graph.
Oh, dear.
Mega bloody death. Nice. But...
Oh, guys, no, but honestly, like we are so excited to see you guys back on the stage together and playing these songs and just hearing people sing along in the crowd and everything else in between. So thank you for taking the time to do this. It's always a pleasure speaking to you guys, and yeah, just excited for more as it is in the future and in 2025, and just embracing it.
Thanks. Thanks to both of you. Thanks to the listeners. This is like one of the best podcasts in the scene, isn't it?
I don't know.
We can't comment on that, can we? But we take your word for it. Yeah.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. That's it. Now we're gonna have to fucking put Patty Walters approved now on every episode that goes out with a star on it. Yeah, but no, thank you for that. It's not true, but I am grateful for what you said, and I appreciate it. And yes, thank you for the music, and cannot wait for Slam Dunk and everything to come after it.
Same here.
Splitting up a Slam Dunk and then getting back together a Reading or something like that. That would be good.
Right.
Like it's just literally like May to August, just like, we're off, boys, we're off. But yeah, thank you very much for this, and see you soon in the flesh, hopefully.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
see you
thanks
soon.
for having us.
You're listening to Sappenin Podcast!
Yes! Woo! You hear that? That's the police coming to arrest As It Is for being too brilliant. Not put in a sample. That's you, wherever you are. Crime capital of the UK. Some would say, I'm not saying that. Oops, I've had a bash. If people knew what I was talking about, they'd be offended. Anyway, yes, that was Paddy and Ben from As It Is. Always great to see the chaps. Always great to hear about them personally. And I love it that they're back together and people are over the bloody moon. Great times. And yeah, there was a mention of Hidden in Plain View on that chat. And I didn't bring it up at the time. But Hidden in Plain View were the first band to ever take the Blackout on tour.
Really?
Yeah. In 2006, I believe.
Yeah.
There's a poster in Tiny Rebel in Cardiff where we did our live podcast. Go back and check that out. It was a good one. And yeah, it says Hidden in Plain View plus the Blackout. And that was our first ever tour. So make everything about me.
It all relates. It all comes back, you know. It's just goes around the sun circle, basically. But no, As It Is it? Aye, they're back together. I'm so happy. I'm so excited for that Slam Dunk set and the fact that they've re-recorded all these songs. It's a fresh take on the band in an album that I think a lot of people at the time were young and getting into this, seeing in these certain bands, and now the fact that they can reflect on that, they can see how much they've grown up and have influence in from other artists that they've admired. It's just great to see. It's a really nice full circle thing for them. I'm glad Ben and the rest of the guys are back in the band as well. It feels right. It feels nice. And yeah, that Slam Dunk set is going to be outstanding. Remember that Never Happy Ever After X, the album, all reimagined, all re-recorded, comes out Friday, the 18th of April, 2025. You can now go and pre-order physical copies. You can pre-save it on Spotify and all that malarkey. And then you can get ready for these fresh takes on these songs at Slam Dunk Festival 2025. Good lineup as well. You know, A Day to Remember, The Used, New Found Glory, The Star in Line.
I've heard of all of them. Class.
We have. We at least got a banger each.
Oh, 100%. You can have the best of me. All right, yep, some crackers on there. While you are listening to this right now, if you're listening to this on Friday when it comes out, me and Morgan are currently, hopefully, if I haven't been banged up, we are hopefully on the Emo's Not Dead cruise in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, somewhere by the Bahamas, where the Bermuda Triangle is, where the big underwater UFO is that makes all these drones that have been appearing over New Jersey is as well. So yeah, that's unbelievable. Can you believe it? You're listening to us and we are in Miami.
Yeah. And the thing is, no one would have heard anything from us for a few days before us because the signal would be so bad. I'm going to try and...
Also, I just realized some people might think that we're recording this now from Miami.
No.
But they would have earlier heard a police siren. So that would have been weird. What? There's a police car just zipping past a cruise ship on the ocean? Yes, there is.
Yes,
I'm not explaining anymore.
Yeah. I was going to say, I'm going to try and pre-schedule content to go out. So if everyone's like, what the fuck's going on, that's about that. Who knows? We might get abducted. We might be thrown overboard. You don't know. Basically, last year we had a great time. You can go back and listen to that episode. We tried to upload an episode while on the boat, and that didn't work out. So we've been clever this time and pre-recorded all this so it can go out while we're on the boat. But now there's the worry if something happens to us and you don't know because you would just imagine everything's fine because you hear this. So next week's really when you need to tune in to find out what's gone on in our lives.
If we made it back.
If we've made it back, if we survived, which one of us has got the better suntan, and who's had the most puddings at the all-you-can-eat buffet.
Me. The answer is me. Because they were class last night. Oh, that chocolate pudding. I'm stopped thinking about it. It's been nearly a year. Anyway.
So do us a favor. Head to @Sappenin Pod on Instagram and share this in your stories. And
please do it.
Get it out there as much as you can, right? Because fuck knows when we're going to have internet signal and we need things to be pushed out. So this does well and this thing can survive. The only other alternative you could ever possibly do would be signing up to our Patreon at patreon.com/Sappenin, where you find out news about everything we got going on first, not just the podcast, but someone's band and what they're doing and what they can't tell you before, but he still does. And you get a whole community of people who are the best and they embrace each other. And I imagine by now they've probably had a mutiny again for the second year in a row.
Oh, no doubt. Absolutely no doubt. But yeah, as usual, thank you very much to people who are part of our Patreon. You literally keep this going, keep us together, and you're wonderful. You've helped us get to go on things like the Emo's Not Dead cruise. So thank you very much to all of our Patreons. But I've got to give a special shout out to the following people. Thank you very much. Kylie Wheeler, Janelle Castan, Paul Edgefield, Tony Michael, Scarlett Charlton, Dilly Grimwood, Mitch Perry, Nathan Croso, Johanna, Molly Malloy and James Bowerbank, Amy Louise, Kat Besson, Chris Howard, Jonathan Gutierrez, Amy Hogg, Jenny Robertson, Amy Dawson, Murray Grimwood, Scott Jones, Mayumi, Stuart McNaught, Ellen Southfield, Jennifer Dean, John and Emma, Caroline Robertson, Jenny Munster, Louis Cook, Carl Pendlebury, Jason Heredia, James McNaught, Martina McManus, Danny Eaton, Thomas O'Neill, Sean Foynes, Kalila Keane, Adam King of the Goss Parslow, Dan Peregrine, Emily Perry, Ollie Amesbury, Josh, what do you call a constipated detective? No shit, Sherlock. We had that last week. Come on, be better. The joke there is he hasn't had a chance to be better because last week's episode was recorded 4 minutes ago. So anyway, thank you very much. Fraser Cummins, Laura Russell, Lambda Lee Martin, Connor Lewins, and Kyle Smith. I'm not calling King of the Slots, even though he wrote it there. Also, what a lovely little sneak behind the curtain hours to make fun of Josh Crisp's inability to change jokes within. Imagine he changed it while we just did the intro to this episode. He changed it anyway, he couldn't have. Thank you very much to all of those people. Everybody who's ever supported us, thank you. I am currently wearing some sort of Hawaiian shirt. I might even have shorts on right now.
I might not even have a top on at all.
Oh, God.
No one wants that. Take that image out.
Have they ever had a sighting of Bigfoot on the sea?
Yeah, I don't know. My beard's grown out at this point as well.
I was thinking about it. I was looking at it earlier. I was like, fucking look at the thickness on that. Have you been putting anything on it?
No, I've got new skincare that I've used for the other parts of my face, but I don't know.
It's trickled down a bit. It's just fucking gone down and then just pulled the beard. It's heavy, is it? It's just pulled the beard. It's looking nice. It's quite thick.
I might might shave her off. I don't know.
Well, that's what I was wondering. Yeah, it's going to be fucking hopefully
boiling,
it's going to be fucking warm out there. But it's a strong look in there. That little fucking looks like some sort of woolly bear. I like it.
Well, there we go. That's a nice end. Thank you for listening. We'll be back next week, hopefully with a tan. You won't be able to hear it, but you'll be able to see it online at Sappenin Pod. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, you hear us glowing. We'll be bloody glowing. Anyway, nice one.
Sappenin!
Please, my army. Please let us in. And out.
You're listening to Sappenin Podcast with Sean Smith and Morgan Richards. Thank you very much for downloading this podcast or streaming it, or I don't know what else you do with podcasts. Thank you very much.